All right, here we are. We're live. Just going to get the live Facebook feed up here so I can see you guys and we can chat. See what we got here. All right, we'll get that on mute. Okay, here we go. Saturday, June 6th, 2020. Welcome to Chronicles. I'm Frank Morizio, and this is lockdown day 82. 82, folks. I got my counter going here in my home office here in the bunker, as we call it. I got here on March 17th, St. Patty's Day. Seems like an eternity ago. I set up my home office here and studio here. I took over some of my wife's laundry room. And over the past 82 days, it's been pretty interesting. I've gotten a lot of work done. I've gotten a lot of thinking done. I've taken massive amounts of action. I'm very proud of that. I've been with you on, I don't know how many shows this is, but I don't know, day 82. I think I started on day 20. So 2 full months worth of shows. That's probably 8 or 9 Saturdays. It's been a real privilege and a real honor to do this, and I appreciate all you guys that tune in, not only live, but in the replays. And if you are on the replay and you're watching, do me a favor, just go in the comments, just write replay in the comments, because I'll come back in a couple of days and I'd be happy to answer any questions or take any comments from you guys if you're watching on replay. The one thing I kind of miscalculated when I took over, when I kind of commandeered this area back in March, when it was nice and cool out, was it was pretty fantastic being down here. I've discovered that being that this laundry room is an extension on the house, there's no central air duct in here. So now that it's kind of warm out, it's definitely kind of warm in here. So so I'm going to have to do something about that if I'm going to continue to broadcast live here from the bunker. So again, June 6th. I'm going to give you our county update. So as I always do, coronavirus. So that thing's still going on, I think. It was a pandemic just about 10, 12 days ago. So in Nassau County, and to give you some perspective, Nassau County has we're the first county east of New York City. We're actually connected to Queens, which is one of the 5 boroughs. So about 1.36 million Nassau County residents. And let's see. What are our numbers? So this week, the week of June 1st through 6th, so far, our total number of people in hospitals has gone down by 33%. Now that sounds amazing, and it really is. What's even more amazing about it is the total number of people that are actually in hospitals right now with COVID is only 201. 201 people in the whole county of 1.36 million, not to mention the folks from Queens, where there are, a lot of crowded hospitals in the Queens border, lots of those folks jumping over the border in Nassau County. Of course, they're welcome. We want to help everybody. But a total of 201 people in Nassau County hospitals positive for COVID-19 right now in a county of 1.36 million. I mean, literally only a handful of deaths last week. And not that I take any death lightly. If you've been with me after all these weeks, you know that. But, in the grand scheme of things, this is, we've gone beyond flatten the curve and we're ready to open. And on that note, we're allowed to go to phase 2 here in Nassau County Wednesday, June the 10th. What does phase 2 mean? Well, retail's open. So like I've been saying since the beginning, and if you're watching, I've been consistent. If we're able to wear a mask and we're able to socially distance in Costco and in ShopRite and in a liquor store, I've consistently called for an answer as to why we couldn't do it in a furniture store, in a clothing boutique, in a sporting goods store, or any mom and pop that would like to open. Well, you got what you wanted. Retail stores, in-store shopping, you could open on Wednesday. Gentlemen, ladies, start your engines. Barbershops and beauty parlors, boom, also open Wednesday, June 10th. So make your appointments now. Car sales will reopen and full service real estate will reopen. No more virtual showings and things like that. Most happiest thing for me is outdoor dining is going to be restarted. And Nassau County has done a pretty good job of I would say, I believe what they call it is streamlining the process to get outdoor permits. So that's been good. And I believe lots of establishments are going to be ready to open up with outdoor dining. Having said that, indoor dining, we still want indoor dining because, I have friends and clients in the restaurant industry, and I can tell you from takeout and a little bit of outdoor dining, they are definitely not going to stay alive. We need to get some indoor dining and not at 25%. On that note, this coming Monday, June 8th, 1 p.m., there's a rally in Hapog, Long Island, at 100 Veterans Memorial Highway. There's going to be a rally to open up the restaurant industry. Let's get indoor dining going, just like outdoor dining is going. We need to prop up the restaurant industry. I mean, millions and millions of workers in the restaurant industry right now are not working, even though we had some surprisingly great news on the jobs numbers this weekend that came out. We actually added 2.5 million jobs in May. But if you look into those numbers, African-American jobs, unemployment stayed flat. Hispanic jobs, unemployment went down. Why? Because you got to look at the major cities. You got to look at the major cities that are still on lockdown and still not allowing industries like restaurants to open up. We got to open these industries up. They are the backbones of our community. They're the workers in our community, and they need us now more than ever. So if you can, Monday, rally. What else? Milestones. I usually go through some milestones. This kind of a milestone week for me. Actually took almost a whole day of a pause the other day. Thursday, June 4th would have been my father's 80th birthday. Quite an emotional day for me. Fortunately, my brother and my sister and I, we still have my mom, who will be turning 80 in August. But I've been without a dad since I'm 15 years old. And for those of you who still have your parents, I got to admit I'm jealous. And I wish I had my dad. So June 4th. Happy birthday in heaven, Dad. I hope you're playing some awesome baseball up there with all the Yankee greats, because we're certainly not getting any of it down here. Another milestone. So today's 6/6, right? June 6th, 6/6/44, D-Day, the largest seaborne invasion of anywhere in history. Over 10,000 casualties just in the first few hours. This was a last resort. So I won't give you a history lesson on D-Day. But as a veteran, it's near and dear to my heart. I will say that this action was a last resort for change. You had a coalition of countries, right? You had the Allies, you had the Axis powers. There was a world war going on, the Second World War, and change was needed. And their last resort was an invasion. So, my heart and my thanks and gratitude goes out to, two of my uncles were in that invasion on Normandy Beach. And I'm sure many of your family members, all shoulder to shoulder. And some of them came back and some of them didn't. The greatest generation really was defined by World War II and their sense of commitment for the America that we all have now. And I'm grateful. So they wanted change. So they took action. So for all of you who know me, I have I have a lot of morizio-isms, but morizio-ism number one is doing something actually means doing something. So it's one thing to talk about change, but it's another thing to actually do something and effectuate change. And I want to help motivate people to make some change, because we could really use that right now. All right, so we're about 8 minutes in. Let me say some hellos. Who do we have out there? All right, Facebook, we got Natasha's out there. Hey, Natasha. Matt Ruffini, Staten Island. Mikey Santuli's out there, out east. Maria Arcabasso down in Long Beach. Hey, good news on the restaurants, at least outdoor for you guys, Maria. Brian Driscoll is always in. What's up, Brian? Yep, finally phase 2, man. Finally phase 2. We're getting there. Brian Galletta's out there. Barbara Berman's out there. My Marine Corps brother, Ed Colon, always out there. Hoorah, brother. Happy to see you out there. Really appreciate it. Who else is out there? Peter Hionis also out there. Hey, Pete. How's it going over there in Soho? I hope the gallery's still good. Who's on LinkedIn? Oh, my man Lane Frank's out there. What's up? Rob Cartwright, Frankie boy. Stay out of ShopRite. Yeah, danger in some of those supermarkets if you're not careful. I've been very careful in the supermarkets, wearing my mask, washing my hands all the way up to my elbow, taking my outer garments out. Been very successful there. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Again, to really start talking about the elephant in the room, right? Because I don't think we could possibly finish this week. It's been 10, 12 days now of what's going on in this country without mentioning, the demonstrations that are going on. And I believe about 70 cities right now, demonstrations over the let's just call it, I'm going to say it's the evil murder of a black man by a police officer. And I'm going to call it like I see it. And I think you all know me by now, and you will respect and appreciate that. But what's come out of this is a movement. And in the first time that I can recall, I wasn't alive in the 60s. The first time that I recall, at least in my adult life, you have people of all walks demonstrating together and holding hands in solidarity. It's across race lines and creeds and religions and socioeconomic barriers, and everyone's out there shoulder to shoulder and standing up really just for what's right. So I'm a man of action, and like I said, morizio-ism number one, doing something actually means doing something. If you've been following along, you know that I've been kind of gaining the COVID-19 pounds while sitting here with full access to a refrigerator 24 hours a day, which I normally don't have. And I'm sick of it. And I want change, but I don't want to talk about change anymore. I got up this morning, I put on some running shoes, and for the first time since May 19th, 2020, got out in the streets and I did some running. And my brother said to me, my brother texted me, he's like, "You chose the muggiest day of the year to start running?" And I'm like, well, if not today, then when? Tomorrow? Should I wait till September when it's nice and cool out? No, I want change now. I have to effectuate change now. Anybody that's local, if you've seen me running, I mean, listen, I don't go that fast. I don't go flying by. So if you've seen me lumbering past your house, you've definitely heard me lumbering past your house, because when I run, I take my Marine Corps brothers and sisters with me and I sing cadence. And the reason why I do that is because they carry me when I get tired. I'm not going to let my brothers and sisters down, and they're not going to let me let myself down. So I carry them with me in my ears and on my voice, and they call cadence and I respond. And I'm sure everybody in the neighborhood has heard me do this, and I keep doing it. And what's interesting, and it's a perspective that I want to share with you, because you might not have this perspective. As veterans, and certainly Marines, we don't see the colors that you all see as readily available as you see them. We are taught from day one, and we're trained as Marines to get rid of our civilian beliefs and our civilian stuff. We wash it off, and then we're rebuilt as Marines. And one of the most famous Marine Corps slogans is "The change is forever," and it is. So we see each other as fellow brother and sister Marines as different shades of green, but we're all green, and that's all that matters to us. So I carry my brothers and sisters with me. They carry me when I'm getting tired. And, because we're all green, there's no teams. I think what we're suffering from right now in America, and I'm going to go bold and I'm going to go in here, is I think we're suffering from teams. I'm going to say that we all, I believe, are naturally predisposed to some tendencies and some prejudices. And some of them are good and some of them are bad. I'm prejudiced against wasps. I see a wasp, I'm killing that mother, because he's just coming at me to sting me just for the hell of it. So I don't want to make light of prejudice. You can see I'm a little bit uncomfortable with it, but uncomfortable conversations are what we have to have now. And those uncomfortable conversations have to be followed by action. This is very strange for me. Normally I'm out there, and everybody who knows me knows this, I'm usually out there doing shit, and then I either got to explain myself or I have to apologize for it. I kind of, my eagerness and willingness to just go do stuff sometimes doesn't get thought all the way through. I'm in a unique position right now, and I can tell you that I had some of my best friends over the house yesterday, and we had a really long talk last night, and it was all about what I was going to talk about today. And I've been nervous about this all day, and I'm actually sweating now. I have a lot of notes in front of me, which is something I don't normally do, but I just want to be extremely careful because for the first time in my life, what I'm committed to doing now is I'm going to think first. I'm going to speak what really is in my heart. And if that doesn't sound right, well, then I'm going to have to take action to make a change. And I'm guilty. I get into some of these political wars back and forth on Facebook, on text messages with my friends in the street, and it's unfortunately natural for me sometimes to see red blue, right? To see us them, to see black white, to see law and to see lawbreakers. I'm naturally predisposed to do that, and it's challenging me. It's challenging me to root for. I'm going to call it the human team, right? I want to be on the human team. No more sides. I want to consume information and process information without bias, because that's what we do in the Marine Corps. We don't. I mean, no one ever in a military situation says, well, what color is that guy in the foxhole? I don't know if I want to get in next to him. Or, who's that wounded guy over there? Is he from our unit? I don't want to carry him. We don't do that. It's not a thought. It's ingrained in us that we're one team. We're all green. And then we come out here into the civilian world, and we're mixed in. I mean, I would less than 1% of Americans, I think it's less than 0.5% of Americans have ever served in the Marine Corps. So when we get out here amongst the 99.5% of you all, the biases start to come out. And sometimes when we don't have the discipline or the strength to take a stand or say what's right or say what's uncomfortable or have these conversations, sometimes what comes out is from a predetermined perspective, and it hurts others. And I've done that, and I don't want to do that anymore. Words can definitely hurt, but actions hurt more. And I feel like where I need to improve is in my lack of action. I think I need to do more. I mean, you know me. I've done service my entire life. Service is literally my superpower. It's what I do. I take it above everything else. I don't think I'm doing enough to create unity. I don't think I'm doing enough to promote the human team. I think I am divisive at times. I have been very conscious over the last 2 weeks of having intelligent, fact-based conversations, and I've been doing my best to put aside innuendo and put aside sarcasm, and just be real. I hope I'm doing a good job. I'm working on it. And you know what? If we all work on ourselves, we're going to create some change, right? We can't do it as a society en masse. There's no magic wand. There's no, all of a sudden there's no more racism. There's no more Democrats and Republicans. We can't do that. We have to work on ourselves individually, and it's uncomfortable, and it's going to take discipline, and it's going to take work. And I promise you, you won't be perfect at it. You will fail at times. And I'm telling you that it's okay. You can fail. You're not perfect. We are all human. But when you do say something wrong, and when I say something wrong, I'm going to come back and I'm going to apologize for it. And I'm going to look that person directly in the face and I'm going to say, I don't know what I was thinking. Or maybe I do know what I was thinking. I was thinking the old way. And the old way was, we're black, white, red, blue, American, foreigner. There's a million different dividing lines. That's the old way. Human team is the way forward. And I'm committing to you that I'm getting on the human team. And I'm going to do my best every day to stay on the human team and not see sides. And I'm hoping, as a matter of fact, I'm asking and I'm expecting that you, as my friends and members of my community, that you're going to hold me to it. So if you see me slip, I want you to call me out on it. I'm going to need you to tell me, hey, Frank, look what you're saying here. More importantly, look what you're doing here. Your actions aren't matching your words. or your words aren't matching your actions. So if I'm doing it, I'm calling on you to let me know, because I do want to change. I don't want to talk about change, right? Doing something actually means doing something, and I'm here doing it. And I'm really glad that you're here along with me. What else can I talk about here? I don't know. I think I kind of hit it all. Just to go back to perspective for a second. So again, as humans, our brain is predisposed to our perspective, our purview. Also predisposed to the path of least resistance. We do take the path of least resistance. And sometimes it's just easy to fire off that word. Sometimes it's just easy to pick a side. Sometimes it's just easier to get with those that make you most comfortable. And I'm not saying that you have to, go out and get a whole new set of friends. You could still have your friends. You could still have your family, right? I'm just saying that what you do have to do, and I'm imploring you to do this, is you have to have understanding for others. I'm not, again, I'm telling it like it is. I don't dig the tolerance word. I just don't. I know it's associated with, with equal rights, for all different types of communities. Again, my preconception of the word tolerance is, this fly is buzzing in my ear. I'm going to tolerate it. I don't look at other people and say, I need to be tolerant of that person. I want to look at other people and say, I want to understand that person. Why is my initial reaction that person annoys me, or those views? Why don't I see those views? Why is that my initial reaction? If I seek to understand, I don't have to tolerate, because then I can process information and then I could make my own decision. And if that person, what they're saying, doing, whatever it is, if it's compelling enough, yeah, I will evolve. I will change. I'm looking to do that. So I don't like the tolerant word. I'm going with understanding. And I think, most of all, what I'm gonna work on is I'm gonna take extra care in my responses. And I've done this 3 times this week. Telling you the truth, Scout's honor, right? I was never a Boy Scout. I don't know how that works, but telling you the truth, which I always do. 3 times this week, I fired up an email and I wrote the whole email and I went, don't send. I got it out. I let it off my chest. Didn't really need to be said. Didn't need to be said at that moment, and it just wasn't nice. Delete. I changed. I took some action. Not perfect. I'm sure some of those emails are going to pop through, or some of those Facebook responses are going to pop through. But I'm going to do my best to work on that. And again, I'm going to ask you all to help me. And if you like, I will help you. And I will let you know when you're not on the human team. I'm going to let you know. I'm going to call you out. So I'm going to ask you to do that for me. All right, we're coming up on 22 minutes. Let me see. Let me say a few more hellos out there. Let's see. Ben Cooper's out there. Phil DeMori. Hey, Phil, what's going on? Bobby Ross. Love you, Bobby. Peter, what's going on? My brother, Sean Talty's out there. What's going on, Sean? Another brother, Julian, and Vladimir. All my Marines are always out there, man. You guys are so supportive. I really appreciate you. Hey, Pete Michou's out there. Pete, good to see you, man. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. And, of course, Seth Blau. Well, he's a mainstay. Seth's always out there, whether it's live or in replay. Who else is out here on LinkedIn? Yamuna, thanks for tuning in. Yamuna's saying, let's see, can we get this comment up here? Yeah, we can. Thanks, Yamuna. I really appreciate you, man. Thank you very much. All right, fantastic. So those are my hellos. Thank you, everybody. I want to leave you with a story. So I heard this story this week, and this was it was enlightening to me, and I think it will be. I think it will be to you. So listen along, open your ears, digest information, don't draw conclusions. I want to tell you about an incident that happened in Boston. There was a crowd protesting peacefully. Sorry, let me correct myself. I don't like to say protesting because, again, negative connotation. They were demonstrating. Demonstrators are peaceful. Okay. They were demonstrating peacefully, and a law enforcement officer took the butt of his rifle, boom, and hit a young boy right in the face. The people in the town came out, the business owners came out, and the crowd got larger, the demonstration got larger. It was still peaceful, but it got larger. The law enforcement officers called for backup. They brought armed militia to quell the demonstration, and then one of the officers opened fire into the crowd and killed a black man. Now I want you to stop for a second. I want you to think before you react. Okay? Because if you were thinking which side you were going to be on, you didn't have enough information to make a decision. This is a true story. It happened in 1770. The name of the black man killed was Crispus Attucks, and he was the first person killed by King George's soldiers to start the American Revolution, and this was called the Boston Massacre. Now that you have all the information, how does that feel? Is there a side? I don't know. I don't want to pick a side. Human team. That's what I'm going with. And I'm going to implore all of you to go with that and do your best to be a good human today. That's my word, that I'm going to be a good human today, and I'm going to do my best. And I'm going to ask you to do the same. And I know that if we can just come together with understanding and love in our heart and open up our perspectives and open up our purview, that we can all get better together and we can change. Okay? I know you can do it, and I know that we'll come out on the other side of this better. So thank you very much for tuning in today. I really appreciate it, because if this was a blank screen, it would have been very difficult for me to get all this out, and I appreciate the support, and I hope that you're enjoying this broadcast. I'm also hoping that next Saturday, I guess next Saturday, 12 noon is going to be day 89. That might be the last lockdown, folks. So I'm hopeful that that is the last lockdown, and we get to break out of here, because I'm going to keep doing the show until everybody's out. That's my commitment to you. Corona Chronicles. I'm Frank Morizio, and I appreciate you tuning in, and I hope to see you next Saturday at 12 noon. Thank you.